1940s housewives were often up at the crack of dawn to prepare the house and breakfast for their family. The bed is aired out every day for a few hours. The curtains are drawn and the windows open to allow the fresh air and light into the bedroom. During the wartime, blackout curtains were used at night to prevent homes from being seen by enemy aircraft. So following the end of the war, families and housewives would have welcomed the house being flooded with the early morning sun after the blackout restrictions were lifted. We have 2 chickens that we love dearly, but during the war, families were encouraged to keep chickens and rabbits for food. Good morning. Good morning. Housewives would have freshened up in the morning with a cold face wash, a facial astringent, and a simple moisturiser. Fabric during the war was rationed, so dress designs were kept quite simple, with shirtwaist dresses being very common, with a masculine and military-inspired design. Watches were a common accessory, and most women wouldn't leave the house without one. A small amount of makeup is put on with the hair still up on colours, ready to get into the kitchen to make breakfast. I chose to make scrambled eggs with cooked tomatoes from my late 1940s cookbook. To ensure your scramble is absolutely delicious, be sure to add 2 tablespoons of milk per egg and whisk them well to make eggs nice and fluffy. Season well and cook slowly in 1 tablespoon of butter. Plates are warmed in the oven before serving, ensuring the hot meal stays hot even after being served. And the rule for brewing a lovely pot of tea is 1 tea bag per person and 1 for the pot. The toast is buttered, the table set, and the wholesome home-cooked breakfast is served. The radio was often a source of entertainment, along with the newspaper, which was read at the breakfast table or on the commute to work. We have just signed up for the weekend newspaper and are waiting patiently for the delivery to start shortly. Following the war, men returned back to their regular jobs, and women were expected to take on the traditional homely duties after helping out with the war efforts, working in factories, in the Women's Land Army, driving ambulances and trucks, and nursing, to name a few jobs these amazing women learned how to do. Women's makeup was simple but beautiful, with a base of foundation, blush, and red lipstick. Lipstick was seen as a symbol of victory, patriotism, and optimism during the war. Hair was set the night before in pin curls or rollers, and often lasted the week until the hair was washed next. The chickens are fed our leftover food scraps for their breakfast. The eggs are collected and the garden is tended to before the hot summer sun sets in. As there were food shortages in the 1940s due to labour and transportation shortages, families were encouraged to start victory gardens, growing their own vegetables in their back gardens. After spending some of the morning out in the garden, it was time to come inside and meal plan for the upcoming week. Food rationing lasted up until 1950, 5 years after the war ended. Although meat and sugar became more readily available, butter and tea was still rationed until June and July in 1950 in Australia. A quick tidy of the house and folding clothes is done, before sitting down with a hot cup of tea and writing a letter to a dear friend of mine.
Sun's out, fun's out. Grab your value burger box today, everywhere and not forever.
Sun's out, fun's out.